Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Just kind of want to jump in here for a channel update, and we'll talk about a few other things. One, I'm using right now, since YouTube's getting rid of Hangout on air, I'm using their webcam version that they have. We can still stream by using streaming software in the new settings, but as far as the Hangout on air goes, yeah, we're losing that. So if you don't have streaming software, I suggest you look into it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to share screens and content like we've been used to. The only way we're going to be able to have people on. And the worst part of this, I can't even tell if my mic's even coming in good. It looks like it is, but I don't know. 5x5, cool. But with this their YouTube's little thing here, you can't invite people on. I mean, like I said, it's getting away. YouTube's getting away from what YouTube makes YouTube so great, which is a shame as we're getting ready to approach our Independence Day or 4th of July. I do want to run that down real quick. What I will be doing. This will be the 4th year that I've done a 4th of July podcast. Basically, it's a marathon stream from the time I get up until sometime in the evening. We'll run a stream, but I am going to do things differently this year. I have a few things in mind. I'm going to be using, of course, Hangouts, but I'll also be using the Gathering for some. So I'm going to break it down into segments to give people little breaks. Then I'm also going to use Streamlabs so we can do call-ins this year. Something I've been wanting to do. So, I'll be inviting guests on as well. For those that wish to partake, you're all welcome to join. Like I said, this year's I'm celebrating the fourth obviously the fourth year in a row that I will be doing the live streams and a marathon stream, which pretty much, well, we all know most of my podcasts are marathon streams anyway, but I don't normally stream all day and into the evening. But I know there's a lot of topics people want to talk about, and as always, the topics will be open for whatever you guys wish to talk about. Maybe even do a little Q&A session in there. But I also want to remind people that what I'm also doing with Sons and Daughters of Liberty from the future for the Sons and Daughters of Liberty. We're not going anywhere. We're not leaving this platform. I've made that good and clear. But I'm also expanding, growing it, looking for new people that want to come in, be a part of it. I'm looking for a co-host as well. Because it's time that I start using this channel the way I originally had designed it and set it up for. I mean, I have been, but I've been slow on doing things with it. Some of it's because I took a year break. Others, I still had things I needed to learn and experience. And I got to experience what it was like to be a co-host. And I seen how much smoother the streams ran, how much more content was being shared, how much more interaction. So I will be moving on in the future with that as soon as I find one. I have had no responses or anybody answer me back yet. But I also realize for most people I'm a little raw and over the top. So makes it a little bit hard for people to want to do things, but which is okay, because that part allows me to open up the other side of the things here, as I've shown you guys, by bringing in managers and giving them their own. Basically, they can do their own podcast right from mine. Things they may not want to be able to share or risk their channels, I will open the spot for them. But with that, like all things, we got to get to know each other. I got to know I can trust you. I actually don't know your schedule for the 4th, Bree. And I've also been working on expanding on other platforms. And I am happy to say I'm growing on other platforms. On platforms that I didn't think I'd ever grow on, like Twitter. I mean, I'm really growing daily over there, reaching more people. More of my content's getting out there. My WordPress site is doing amazing, and I'm reaching new people there. And today I want to thank Mr. Anderson for proofreading the article that I wrote and helped me get it fixed so it was perfect. I'm used to having an editor, which I don't have anymore because my publishing magazine days are done. But I haven't done anything like that in a while, and it felt good to get back to my roots, so to speak, my love for writing. So I'm going to try at least every other week to publish a blog over on the WordPress site and publish it elsewhere, like ISU, where I would normally keep my magazines. It's extending my reach, and other people want to get involved with that. I might bring the magazine back for Sons and Daughters of Liberty. It is still on the table, and it will always be on the table because it's something I enjoy doing. Sometimes for me, I can express myself better in words by writing or typing. And there's just some things I think it's more suited to be posted like that. And it kind of felt good publishing once more. Well, not publishing. I'm not going to be publishing anything anytime soon. That's just too much work. Because I'm still focused on doing the live streams. I like the interaction. That's what I think people have forgotten along the way as well. The ability we have with YouTube, DLive, Gab, Steemit, DTube, and Ustream, and all the many other places, the ability to be able to interact with our chat rooms, interact with our followers, our audience, which is important. To me, anyway, it should be important to everybody because we're supposed to be learning from each other. This is how we connect with people. And to me, that's quality. Quality will always trump quantity in my book. I don't care what my numbers are. Obviously, I don't promote this channel. Never have, never will. It'll grow organically. Just like every platform I'm on, everything's growing organically, and I'm watching the fruits of my labor. And it's been an amazing ride. It's been amazing to watch and see. It's motivated me to do more content, start pushing the boundaries, start talking about more things that I don't normally talk away, or some things I shy away from, which is cool. It's also going to get me out on the street here soon. Well, when I can get one of the vehicles up and running again. My truck's still sitting in the yard waiting to be taken to my cousin. But he's got the other vehicle. Hopefully that'll be done. I was hoping it'd be done today. It's going on 2 weeks without a vehicle. I'm starting to get a little cabin fever here because I do have some things in the making that's been set up that I can't do until I get a vehicle running. Interview some farmers. That's number one on my list. I wanted to be doing some fireside chats with some people, some friends of mine, that kind of share all of our ideas and beliefs and views and opinions, but they also have their own. And we disagree on a few things, but that's good. I want to bring that in. So fireside chats will be coming back. It is summer after all. But this time, I'm more mobile now with the software and stuff I got. And plus I'm able to even just I can't live stream it. I'm able to record off the camera equipment that I've invested in the past year. So, like I said, things are changing. Things are looking better. I've made some investments to better this channel. I'm still going to figure out how I'm going to get to the RNC, but I do plan on doing the RNC. And I might go up to Detroit for the DNC one, since Detroit's only a couple-hour drive from my house. So that won't require no hotel stays or nothing. So it'd be fairly affordable on my part. But I'm not gonna put that in stone just yet. That's something I'm gonna think about. And also gonna depend if I'm working by then. Hopefully I am. Because everything I do requires money. For the most part, when it means getting out, hitting the streets and doing these things, unless it's local and I can afford it, then it's never an issue. But like I said, I don't do Gab because I can't do the pay to play. I can't justify it. I mean, to me, the pay to play is kind of a form of censorship in itself. That's the way I've always viewed it. I know others don't, and I respect that. But if you're going to create a system and you preach free speech, free this, make it free for everybody so everybody can do it. Because who knows how long even YouTube's going to let us keep doing this for free. Because, honestly, we all know if you start charging, it's going to silence a lot of people. But in the end, it hurts them. In the end, I get more value, more enjoyment watching other people's streams that put out great content but don't monetize, don't pay to play. Because they have that respect that, when you start getting into that, you start becoming more into the markets side of things, and it puts an extra strain and burden on you. Stress. We're not all working decent jobs. I mean, I was this last time around, and I kind of invested my money a little bit wisely, but I still couldn't ever justify paying for a premium account on Gab or some of these other places. For the simple fact is, I don't ask nothing in return. I don't want people to have to become premium members to watch my content. I mean, yeah, do I have a Patreon account? Yes, I've shown it. I also show you where there is no, I got everything turned off for charging anybody. I don't want that. I don't even do it on the mines, for tokens. That's what, to me, part of being freedom, or we're getting ready to celebrate on the 4th, our Independence Day is about. There's nothing wrong with people donating. But when you start asking, just like I don't ask you to share my content, don't ask you to hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down button. You're going to do that anyway if you feel the need to, if you feel what I'm bringing is worthwhile sharing. If not, then it don't happen. Like I said, I've learned about doing things organically. Does it get frustrating sometimes when you post what you think is important stuff? Yes. But the reality of that, sometimes the things we post is meant for a certain few people, and they will find it. That's the way I've always lived my life. Those that are meant to hear this, those that are meant to see this, read it, view it, whatever, find this channel, they will find it on their own. They'll be drawn to it. It's rewarding in itself when you live like that. Not for everybody, but it also keeps the ego out of it. It's just like utilizing blog sites and Isu, creating your newsletters and stuff, magazines or whatnot. It's another platform. It's a whole another group of audience. The more you guys reach out like that, the more you find people, the more people that start seeing some of the things we're addressing here in videos as well. You know, it's a little bit more time consuming than just sitting down, quickly typing in a title and a description and going live, especially when you're doing research on top of it. But it's a different audience. And plus, come on, you guys know what this channel's called, Sons and Daughters of Liberty. If I wasn't using some type of printing press, I mean, what is a blog site but nothing but a printing press that we print our words to and hit enter and post, and it circulates. You know, nothing wrong with a little bit of old school from time to time. And yes, I know how to run a printing press too, so. You know, there's many ways we can reach out to people. But there's also a point where we also got to realize that we can't be running everywhere either. Oh, I'm being censored over here. They're kicking people off. Screw it. Let's leave. Let's go over here. They're not doing it over here. Yeah, well, guess what? It'll happen over there too. But for some, they have to experience it to realize it. And some of them know, some people know better. That's the part that bugs the hell out of me. Some of you know better. You've experienced it. You went to this site, and had the same thing happen. It never starts out that way. And that's the truth. It doesn't start out that way because they want to draw you in. They want to get that traffic flowing. They want to get your followers that you bring in there because they're making money off it. They're making money off the traffic. Then they start cracking down. Then they start censoring. There's no getting away from it. I mean, once more, we hear Democrats and calling, we need to censor these people. You need to ban these people's content. For those of you who don't know who I'm referring to Elizabeth Warren. Talking about Twitter, Facebook, and all these platforms need to remove the things that were said about Kamala Harris. Well, unfortunately, the things that were said about Kamala Harris is true and factual. But they didn't bitch when Don Lennon said it. So, kind of the pot calling the kettle black there. And you know what I had to say about it? Go read the retweet that I posted on Twitter. And I actually tagged Elizabeth Harris right to it. You violated your oath of office. You're going after people's First Amendment rights. You're trying to tell people to censor. That's what we need to start standing up for. I don't want to see the crap I'm seeing from certain people that should know better about the little Antifa crap that's going on. And for those who don't know what I mean, I'm sure you know what I mean. You know, if we want to stop groups like that, it's simple. Start making and holding the officials accountable. The mayor, the governor, the police that obey a order that goes against the oath they took, go against what they know is right. And when a politician of any form tells our police department, our state department, our sheriffs to stand down, that elected official has committed a very serious crime against the people and needs to be removed and held accountable. You notice they only target certain places. And that's a fact. They target places where they know that they're going to be left alone, where they know the police are going to be told to stand down. No. And I don't understand why, out of all places, New York can label them a domestic terrorist group and nobody else has. I mean, come on. We're talking about a sanctuary city, labeling a group, and they won't even label any other group that. That should tell you how bad Antifa is. And they don't want them in their state. But the answer isn't to go out and provoke them. The answer isn't we need all to come together. And I'm not going to name names. I'm sure if you guys, those that are on Twitter, you know who I'm talking about because he's been at it since yesterday, calling for patriots to come together. No, that's not what we need to do. Violence again versus violence gets us nowhere. Actually, gets them. Think about this. Don't you think that's what they want? They want us to clash with groups like that. They want us to. They want us to, so they can say it's civil unrest. So they can say we need to declare martial law. Then, when they declare martial law, you have no rights. Then they're going to come in, do what they can't do, try to take our guns, and it's going to escalate from there. And here's the worst part of it all. We've heard certain elected officials say, we'll call in the UN. So then, when all this chaos is going, we're going to have other countries try to seize on this moment. The countries that really hate us, really want us to fail. That's in the hands we're playing in. The time for violence is not now. The time for action is not now. The time for words, mending the wounds of division and uniting, using our voices. That's what the time is for. I've seen that crap all day today being flown all across Twitter. There's no place for that. Violence isn't the answer. Holding the right people accountable is the answer. Enforcing our laws is the answer. Not saying that these laws don't apply to this group because we support them. Just like the Democrats saying, "Oh, we need to come down on these tech companies." You believe that lie? They're not going to come down on these tech companies because these tech companies are paying them their campaigns crazy amounts of money. They're just telling you that lie to get your vote, and we all know it. Because as soon as they get elected, as soon as the election season's over, they'll be the very ones saying, "Oh no, we don't need to regulate the big tech." The only time they scream censorship is when they're telling these big techs which group of people needs censored, and it's never the right ones. It's always a select group that oppose their views, that call them out on their lies, their hypocrisy, who actually are basically downright committing treason. They violated every trust we have when they spit upon the Constitution and tell a company, a tech group, that you need to take this person's stuff down. They have just violated their oath of office and should be removed immediately upon doing so. We all know it. But there's enough positive things going around. We're getting ready to celebrate our Independence Day, our freedoms. What freedoms, they try to say we have, when in truth we have more freedom than they can possibly imagine. They've just manipulated us, twisted us, and divided us so much they think they're on top when in fact they're not. And one day, a day of reckoning was going to come. Just not today. Imagine this. If we bite in and we allow certain groups to push us to that point, and this is to all the Trump supporters out there who's going to be voting for Trump in 2020. If we do that, if we stop using our voices and just adhere to violence, acting no better than the groups that are doing it, Trump won't get elected. There's something for you guys to think about. You know, our forefathers, everything they did for a reason. Did they make some mistakes? Yes, they made some mistakes. But their vision for this country, for America, they would not be very happy right now to see what it's become. And I ain't gonna lie, they'd probably be screaming a few other choice words. But the first steps would be to start uniting people, break the division. And that starts with each and every one of us, reaching out to our community, spreading the word, educating our children properly. Like I said, we want change. Change starts right here. First with yourself, then in your home, then into your communities. And yes, I'm being a lot more vocal on some of these platforms, especially to senators. Why? Because I can. It's my due diligence. It's your due diligence. We should be vocal to these senators and politicians. We should be telling them exactly what we think, what they're doing wrong, how they're disrespecting and breaking our trust. They're supposed to be listening to us, not the corporations that pay their campaigns that they pretty much will siphon off of, not putting people in that don't deserve to be in there. We keep putting the same officials that try to take our rights and liberties away, but yeah, we keep voting them in because they're of that label. Screw a label. You're an American, and you should be voting people in that's going to uphold that Constitution and protect it and defend it. People that know what it's like to work, knows the burden that's being placed on us by overtaxing us at every step. We're being taxed by the federal part, then our own state levels are keep raising the taxes. They've forgotten the Boston Tea Party. They've forgotten that was over a 3% tax. You know what? Nowadays, as nothing. That 3% tax was nothing compared to we're being taxed 50 to 60 to 70% higher for no reasons. Why? So people in the state level can get their little hands in the kiddie fund? Yep, we're gonna hire this contractor at this bidding, but we're gonna get a kickback from it. We've seen the corruption. People's reported on it. Or we're gonna buy this cheap asphalt that we know is not gonna make it a whole year, but it cost half of what producing real asphalt does, which lasts up to five years or more, and you just have to retar them. That's what they're doing. But yet they want to tax us and say, oh, it's for road repair infrastructure, bridge repair. But yet they're doing using the cheapest material possible. And we're paying higher taxes for it. Just like today. Once more, I seen Walmart doing something that violates state and federal laws. Starting as of today, you must be 21 or older to buy tobacco products, where the state law and federal laws say 18. That's very dangerous when you allow a corporation to make up their own laws and policies that violate laws. Just like you can't go into Walmart unless you're 21 or older to buy a black powder rifle, but yet the federal and state laws state 18. California went in effect today. You got to get a background check to buy ammunition. which completely infringes upon our Second Amendment right. Because that's not going to stop the gang members from going buying their guns, their weapons, their ammo, because they're not buying it legally anyway. We all know this. The statistics are there. Real statistics are there. They don't buy this stuff at your local gun store or at your Walmart. I mean, it's gotten ridiculous. Well, my answer to that is simple. Start making your own. Stop buying them from places that want to do this. Start investing your money into reloading. We have ways around things. There's loopholes around stuff. And it's sad that we got to jump to loopholes, just like this. Losing Hangout on air. Well, I found the workaround to it. I'll still be able to do something similar right from the gathering over on the mines, which actually I think works a little bit better than the Hangouts version. So it's kind of a win-win there for me. Those that can actually run their software to live stream from right straight from OBS, XSplit, Streamlabs OBS. You guys, it's not going to affect you because most of you don't use it. We're still going to have Hangouts from our Gmail, from our messenger, as our messenger. So, except for you can't. I say that's the other drawback. You can't bring that into your Streamlabs. You know how you used to be able to click sign in because you know how it is if you put it in there. But you can still screen capture it and run the audio through. So there's ways to get around some things. But we shouldn't have to. You know. And understand why YouTube's making that move to get rid of the Hangout on air. It's actually kind of smart on their part because it stops us from sharing, screen sharing, bringing other people on. But in the end, they still allow their live streaming part, which allows us to grab our stream key and use our streaming software to continue doing the things we love to do. And for those of us that have crappy internet connections, we can go over the mines and use the gathering. And still be streaming right to our audience on YouTube. That's kind of the beauty of that part. Even though I wish they would open up more avenues with it, but with all things, give them time. The mines have made a lot of changes over the years, past year alone, that I'm actually happy with. I'm happy to see in the direction that the mines are going. And I know there's several people on there that don't agree with the Mines app being on the Google Play Store. And eventually what they are saying is going to be right. They're going to be forced to remove, or Google's just going to remove the app because it is censoring the app, which is probably the main reason why we're seeing an increase with people reporting people's content, trying to get them marked not safe for work, because if it's marked not safe for work, it will not show up on your phone on the app. You literally have to go to the website. And I have seen just the last week or so where the jury system has been abused. I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. That's something the Mines has to address. But how do you address that? Well, it's simple. You can tell, your algorithms and your programs can tell when there's a group of people that's just targeting. That's what we consider a habitual offender. Those are the ones that are harassing, which violates their policy, which is grounds for immediate banning. It's also spamming, and you can go very other way. It's also filing a false report, which is criminal, which is another grounds for immediate to be banned. See, that's how we put a stop to a lot of this crazy stuff. That's how we put a stop to Things like Antifa. Start enforcing the laws. We shouldn't have to walk through a checkpoint just to go to a gathering or go to a thing. But when they're bringing crowbars and all kinds of other weapons that are being used for weapons, we got a problem. So, common sense. Police need to do their job, not stand down. Your oath is simple: to protect and serve. In fact, what you should be doing, you should be marching up to that mayor's house or governor's house that issued a stand down order and arrested him for endangering the public. They should be charged with conspiracy for what took place because their actions allowed a domestic group, terrorist group, that's what Antifa's become, to do what they do. That's what I said. The police department and the police, they hurt themselves every trip. They know what their oaths are. They know what's right. They know what's wrong. They're supposed to be upholding the law, protect and serve. But yet they get caught in this thing. Let me give you a little fact from last year about Portland. It has the most what's the term I want? Not migration, but it is a form of migration. More cops are leaving Portland and Washington to go elsewhere because they don't they can't do it no more. They love being police officers. They love doing their job, but it's gotten to the point where they can't because of politicians, because of mayors and governors that tell them to stand down. So they've been leaving. Mass exodus of cops, sheriffs, state highway patrol. So, when we're talking about the cops standing down, yes, what they did was wrong. But there's a bigger issue than that. Most people don't know that there was a mass exodus going on with the police. And it just isn't Washington, Portland, and Oregon, all those areas. It's happening in California, too. These are the issues we need to be focusing on, not blaming them. I mean, they have some responsibility. They know it. They should be feeling guilty as hell right now in their conscience for not upholding their oaths. But what do? They get ran out, or we see what happened to California where they take their pay. We know what's right and what's wrong. There's nothing that blurs between what's right and what's wrong. We all know it. We know it deep down in our conscious. We know it deep in our souls what's right and wrong. Why do we keep doing wrongs thinking that it'd be made right? Two wrongs don't make a right. Never will. A wrong don't even make a right. Those are the issues we need to focus on. And it starts by holding people accountable. Holding these politicians, these elected officials, state and federal level, accountable. When they violate their oath, office of trust, they should be removed immediately. No question. That's what we need to focus on. We need to start putting people from our own communities into these places. You know, if we want change, we got to start being the change. We got to start finding people in our community or be that person in that community that's going to stand up and start running for these offices at the state level, mayor, governor level, Congress level, for those that can actually got the money, can afford it. That's what we got to start doing. Stop electing these people that don't care. They keep pulling the same crap over and over. Or we can let things keep degrading to the point where everything's in utter chaos and where there's only one solution left. Some people want that on both all sides. Some people really want that. Some people think it's just time for talks over. But to that I say, you can't do it alone, and you can't do it in a small group. You'll be overran, outnumbered, then what? Then you just cost everybody everything. Got to unite. We got to mend the wounds of division. We got to do things right until until it can no longer be done right. That's what you guys got to realize. That's what you guys got to understand. We got to put these big tech companies in check. Let them know we're done. And that actually starts with inside the tech companies. That's why they say they don't, but that's why they hire only the people that have their ideology, their views, their opinions. So they follow the status quo. That needs to stop because that's selective hiring. For one, that's also that's the other word I'm looking for. Basically, profiling. But it seems I got a bunch of noise in the background, so I'm going to end this. Not meant to do anything. I just wanted to let you guys know. July 4th, we'll be doing our marathon stream. Those that want to partake, you're welcome to come in. Those that actually want to join me live, I will have open links, although I'm not making the same mistake I made last year. If you want to come in, I will give you the link through a direct message. Because it did kind of get abused last year to where we had to actually take down a stream and delete it. Because, like all things, good intentions, somebody's going to find a way to abuse that. And it happened. So, those are the things, we're going to do. We're going to do an hour or so of just open phone lines, which I'll do that from Streamlabs. And we'll actually do, I say an hour or so because we'll do that as long as we got callers coming in. Plus, it is going to allow me to have a few people that I know call in that want to talk about some things. Some people that you're going to be introduced to later this year anyway, and some fireside chats as well. So, and we're going to celebrate the 4th of July. We're going to talk about topics, politics, everything. And it doesn't matter what we talk about because we're celebrating our Independence Day. We're celebrating what America stands for. And at the same time, we're celebrating what the future has to hold for this great country and the great people in it. So, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. And we will see you on the 4th. I don't have no plans of doing any no live streams between now and then. But then again, we know me, things change. Something catches my interest, I'll be right on here live streaming. And no, I'm not going to be doing too many of these webcam ones because it sucks. The ability not to be able to screen share, show images so I don't have to stare at my ugly mug, absolutely sucks. This has a purpose. Works great for what I'm doing right now. I can know a few other purposes I can use this for, but other than that, this ain't for me. No, like I said, YouTube's shooting themselves in their own foot on this one. Because the Hangout on air was probably one of the best tools they gave us. And like I said, I can see why they want to take it away. So, with that said, for those that are going to be busy and can't catch any of the marathon stream, happy 4th of July. Enjoy yourself. If you guys are going to be out partying, drinking, don't drive, please. I don't want to lose no more friends because of drinking and driving. I've lost enough over the years. But enjoy it. Celebrate with your family, your community. Remember why we're celebrating it. Remember, until then, you guys all have a good week.